So I bought a Mister, and there is a way to add an Amiga core into your Mister. Now we're not going to discuss how to do that. I will leave a link to the Amiga Vision project, which you can do yourselves, and it will give you access to the Amiga, their version of the AGS file, the games. But this one we're going to install has 30 gigs worth of stuff, and I'm going to show you how to add it and how to set it up so it runs first time. And I also wanted to install my proper Amiga 1200 hard drive into my Mister. What we're going to be doing in this tutorial is talking about how to add in hard drives using WinUAE, and also how to get the proper AGS into the Mister and how to make it work. First thing we need to do is go to this website address and download the games. I'd advise not to download through Mega unless you've got a subscription. If you don't, you get a 5 gig limit, which it does warn you about. The best thing you can do is go to the HTTP and then download one of these versions. Now, don't go for the beta. It does warn you it's password protected and they don't give out the password. So go to this one, click on it, and download this file. Now, before you do this, make sure your Mister has at least 35 gigs free. Although it says 19 gigs over here, it's going to be at least 30 gigs once it's unpacked. So download, and then we'll continue. Once you have the AGS file, what we want to do is unpack it, and you will notice that it says .inv. Now I tried to take all of these files out. I tried to make up my own hard drive. So just by chance, taking a chance, I changed that to HDF, and it works. So the next thing you want to do after this is to go into your Mister and make sure that you have the Amiga core installed, because this will not work otherwise. So what you want to do is go into Games, inside your Mister. You will have an Amiga, you will have a 500. What we want to do is we're going to add a new folder. We'll call it Amiga AGS version 2.7, just so you can see it's a brand new application compared to what I already have. And actually what we should really do is let's make sure that there's no spaces, and we'll call it _7, just in case it doesn't do spaces. Taking no chances here. So what we want to do is we go into there, and then we're going to drag this file in. Remember to make sure it's called .hdf. Once your file is copied over, what we want to do is we want to go back, and we want to take this naming and we want to copy it into memory. So you can do Control-C, or you can just copy it. What we then do is we go back one more, and we go into computer, or _computer, and we want to take this amiga.mgl file, and then Control when you do this, drag it somewhere else, and duplicate. Once you've got that, you can push F12. Once you've done that, you can push F2, and then you can do Control-V or just that. That now gives it the naming convention of the folder that we just had. Once you've done that, you want to click on it one more time and open it up in wherever you use. I use Notepad++. You then want to call that the same as what the file down there is called. That name. So you save that, come out of it, and the next step after that is to boot up the Mister. One thing I forgot to mention is remember to put the SD card back in the Mister. Next, what we want to do is go down to Computer, and then we want to select the Amiga AGS version 2.7, which we've added to the Mister. Now, when it boots up, as you can see, it won't do anything. We need to go into our system, and I like to change it to an 020, and I also like to put it into AGA mode. I also like my 2 megs of chip RAM, and I prefer 8 megs of fast RAM. For the ROM, you will have to find your own. Won't be talking about that in here, or you can go into the Amiga folder and use the Amiga Vision ROM if you've installed that core properly. After that, we have to go back And let's go into drives, and we have to turn on the A1200 hard drive, and we also have to select the hard drive which we've added, and that will connect the two. It makes the hard drive work basically. After that we go down to back, and I would say, yeah, let's go in and let's change the joystick to CD32. Because I'm using a PlayStation 5 controller, it means I can use more buttons. You can also configure it to do more as such, more than just one button. So after that, let's go back. Yeah, let's save the configuration so it remembers, and we have to reset. Let's go and let's try Batman. B for Batman. Where are you? I'm too far down. Gotta go up. And there you are. We'll go for one disc. Yeah, let's go for the one disc. And as you can see, it loads up. Oh yeah, also PlayStation 5 controller, you can use the touchpad to move the mouse. You can also push it in to click the mouse. So if you don't use keyboard and mouse, there you go. Anyway, there you go. There's Batman loaded up using the latest AGS, which is 30 terabytes. And that's that. To build an HDF or our own hard drive, what we need to do is set up WinUAE to boot up Workbench and the install disk, which comes with Workbench. So as you can see here, I've got the Workbench and I've got the install ADF disk as well. You'll need to find your own ROMs and all that if you haven't done that. I won't be able to help you with that. Please do not ask or comment about where I can find ROMs or you can find ROMs. That's illegal, and it's up to you to find that yourselves or rip them from your own Amigas if you can. So after that, we want to go to hard drives and we want to start up a new hard drive file. So we go down to the bottom and let's do a 350 meg just so we can do a very quick one. So click on that and then create it, and then let's call it HDD. So go here. So after that, you can turn off bootable. It doesn't really matter. It's not going to be working until we fix it anyway. So click OK, and then start up your Amiga. Okay, now we're inside the Amiga. What we want to do is we need to make this work as a hard drive. At the moment, it's nothing. It does not work. It's not nothing. It doesn't work, right? So go to install, HD Tools. You want to left click on that once. Go to information, right click that is, hold down, go to information, and change it to match this. The UAE HF. Basically, what that does is that connects to your actual hard drive. Because if I click on here, there it is, UAEHF.device. So as long as that matches that, this program will now work with that hard drive. So make sure it matches this, and then save it. I've already done it, so I don't have to. I'd also say before you do that, take a backup of your installs disk, because this will overwrite that and permanently make that ADF like that. After that, double click, wait for it to read the drive, click on change drive type. I already have this here. Technically we shouldn't have that, so I'll just delete it so you can see what it looks like. Otherwise, I'm not going to do it. Typical, because I write protected everything, which is normally a good thing. So I'll try that again. There we go. So when you load up, you should see this. So what you want to do now is click on define new, and then click on read configuration. This will read the hard drive and tell you all about it. So you can see it's an hdd.hdf, blah blah blah. So click OK, and then click OK again. Don't mind about that, it's not a problem. Just click continue, and then click on partition hard drive, or drive. So in here, I always click on advanced options. Your first bit, the black bit, is where your workbench will be. So I think 174 megs is a bit excessive. Let's put it down to 90. I like to change it to HDO, like so. I also like to have that like that. So Okay. And then we click on the second one, and then we drag it back so it matches or hits the end of the first workbench kind of drive. And then we pull this all the way to the other side, and that gives us 259 megs for our games directory. So same DH1, and just going to change it to that. You don't have to do this if you don't want to. I always remember it runs faster, seeking stuff and all that, I think. Click OK, click OK again, and then click Save Changes to Drive. Once you've done that, click Exit. Now, this is where it gets a bit weird. If we reboot just now, nothing will show. So what I find, or the way I find the best way of fixing this is to come out of WinUAE completely and reboot again. So I'm going to do that just now, and we'll come back to it. Okay, so the next thing to do is to add your workbench again, and click on the hard drives and add your hard drive again. Like so. It will show up again, and then we click Start. It will still load the disk version, but there's a reason for this. So once it boots up, what we're going to do is we're going to format the hard drives, and then we're going to copy over Workbench. So left click, go up to the top, hold down right, down to Format, and change it to something else. I call it Workbench, like so. I don't see the point in trash can, so I leave that one. And quick format. Don't use format, use quick format. It will do it so much quicker. Once you've done that, we want to go to the second one, do the same process, and we're going to call this games. Ooh, type it in right might help. And we don't want a trash can, we want to quick format it, and format. We now have workbench and games. So this next part is up to yourself. There's probably better ways of doing this, but I find if you just click into here, take us over a bit, make sure you can see more, go up here and show all files. What you want to do next is select all contents, hold down Shift and drag it into your workbench. This will now copy over all these files into your workbench hard drive. And once that is finished, it shouldn't take too long on the WinUAE program, hopefully. Here we go. What we want to then do is go back into here. We want to get rid of the floppy drive and reset. And hopefully, there you have it. You now have a hard drive ready for you to add games and stuff. I like to have this down here. I like to have that up there. And I also like to select it and snapshot it, so if I reboot again, here we go. So you now have a workbench working with WinUAE at the moment. What you can then do is repeat that process what we did for the AGS install, but change it for this, and you can then transfer this HDF file over to your MiSTer and set up so it will boot this up as it is. Other thing I would mention is, let's say you want to use this on your PC to transfer stuff quickly. Load up as we've done with your hard drive file and all that, and then what to do is if you click on Add Directory or Archive, you can actually copy stuff off of the websites or off websites like WHD Load, all the files for that. You can take them into a directory, and you can connect that directory up to here as something else. So you would call it like DH3, we'll say. Make sure it's not bootable. And then what you would then do is you would select the directory you want to attach this to, and this will make your folder in your PC become a hard drive. So you can actually then transfer stuff over using it that kind of way. I find that a lot easier to move things over instead of other methods. So yeah. That's another way of doing it. You can also make up, if you're, let's say you don't want to use your MiSTer and you want to just use your WinUAE, do everything through directories, so then at least you can swap things out on your PC quickly and then just boot up your WinUAE and you'll get everything as you've just made it in your PC as such. So that's another way of doing that anyway. So let's say you want to add games into here, you can just copy stuff over that way, or you could get rid of games for your WinUAE and just make it a directory. That's another way of doing it. Anyway. That's it for this tutorial. Hopefully that was enlightening. If you aren't following, please follow. It's free. See you the next time. Bye.